Ladies and gentlemen, every seed of greatness begins not with an act of brilliance, but with a decision to repeat what matters. Consistency is not a talent. It is not a gift. It is a discipline, a decision you must make daily, even when inspiration is absent and applause is silent. Consistency is the master key to mastery, because mastery is never achieved in a single act, nor is it the result of sporadic effort. It is born from a long-term commitment to repetition, discipline, and unwavering focus. The greatest musicians, athletes, thinkers, and leaders did not stumble into mastery. They arrived there through a consistent application of their gifts, regardless of mood, season, or external validation. The truth is, the world often celebrates the results of mastery, but rarely sees the years of quiet, steady effort behind it. Mastery is not a moment. It is a process. And that process demands consistency as its foundation. When someone practices a skill daily, even for a short amount of time, they create what we call momentum. This momentum is not visible at first. It is like a seed underground, unseen and unimpressive. But each act of consistency is a drop of water, a beam of sunlight, a breath of oxygen for that seed. Over time, that seed breaks through the surface, and what once appeared invisible becomes undeniable. This is how mastery works. It is slow, often invisible, and sometimes exhausting, but its fruit is always undeniable. Consistency also sharpens clarity. The more frequently you engage in something, the more intimately you understand its details. You stop guessing and start knowing. Your judgment becomes refined. Your instincts become reliable. This is not magic. It is the reward of sustained effort. When you are consistent, you are not just repeating tasks, you are expanding your capacity. The first time you try, you are inexperienced. The 10th time, you are improving. The 100th time, you are becoming. But by the 1,000th time, you are the thing. You don't just play the instrument. You become the musician. You don't just lead the team. You become the leader. In contrast, inconsistency resets progress. Every time you stop and start, you interrupt growth. It's like digging a well in 10 different spots and never going deep enough to hit water. But consistency digs in one place. It may be slow, but it guarantees depth. Over time, it builds confidence, not just in others, but in yourself. You start trusting your own discipline. You begin to believe that if you stay with it, results will come. And this belief becomes a powerful motivator in the darkest seasons. Mastery is the reward that life gives to those who refuse to quit. But the road to mastery is only open to the consistent. Whether it's learning a language, building a business, developing a skill, or nurturing a relationship, what you do once impresses no one. What you do always defines you. So if you desire mastery, do not chase perfection. Chase consistency. Mastery is not about doing everything. It's about doing one thing well again and again until excellence is no longer an act, but a way of being. Purpose sustains consistency because when the reason behind your actions is clear, your commitment becomes deeper than emotion or convenience. Many people begin with energy, but only those with purpose continue with endurance. Purpose gives meaning to routine. Without purpose, consistency feels like repetition. But with purpose, repetition becomes refinement. Purpose is the why behind the what. When you know why you're doing something, you can face discomfort, delay, and even discouragement without quitting, because your effort is rooted in vision, not feeling. Life will always test your commitment. There will be days when motivation fades, distractions multiply, and the results seem distant. It is in those moments that purpose becomes your anchor. A student who understands that their education is not just about grades, but about becoming equipped for future impact will keep studying even when they're tired. An entrepreneur who sees their business as a tool to solve a real problem in the world will keep building even when profits are low. A parent who sees raising children as shaping future generations will keep nurturing with patience, even in exhaustion. Purpose gives you eyes beyond your current season. Consistency without purpose leads to burnout. You feel like you're doing a lot, but going nowhere. That's because movement without direction is just noise. But when your actions are guided by clear purpose, each step, even a small one, feels like progress. You no longer compare yourself with others because you know your path is unique. You understand that what you're building is bigger than today's feelings. Purpose also refines your choices. You begin to say no to what doesn't align with your purpose. Distractions lose power when your direction is strong. You don't entertain every opportunity, every voice, or every emotion because your life is no longer random. It's intentional. Consistency becomes easier when your decisions are filtered through purpose. You're no longer waking up wondering what to do. Your path is clear and your heart is set. Over time, purpose-led consistency transforms you. You develop character. You become dependable. People may not understand your discipline, but they will respect your results. And more importantly, you begin to respect yourself. You stop needing external praise to feel validated because your consistency is no longer driven by approval. It's fueled by vision. In the end, purpose is what turns ordinary actions into extraordinary impact. You can work hard, but if you don't know why, you will stop. Purpose is what keeps the teacher teaching, the builder building, the leader leading, and the dreamer dreaming. It is the fire beneath your discipline and the compass behind your commitment. When you align your life with a clear purpose, consistency is no longer a burden. It becomes a lifestyle. Consistency builds trust internally and externally because people and systems alike rely on patterns. When you show up consistently, others begin to rely on you. They learn your rhythm, your values, and your reliability. But more importantly, you begin to rely on yourself. One of the most underrated sources of confidence is self-trust. The quiet assurance that you will keep your own word, follow through on your goals, and maintain integrity when no one is watching. This internal trust is the foundation of stability in both your personal and professional life. Trust is not built in grand gestures. It is built in the repetition of small, honorable acts. When someone sees you do what you say, over time, they begin to associate your name with reliability. Employers look for it, partners value it, and communities are shaped by it. Whether you're leading a team, raising children, or serving others, your consistent actions speak louder than any words ever could. People are not looking for perfect individuals, they're looking for dependable ones. Internally, consistency reinforces your identity. When you keep promises to yourself, no matter how small, you are telling your mind that your words have weight. Each time you follow through, you prove to yourself that you are disciplined, that you are committed, and that your actions align with your values. This internal alignment breeds a quiet kind of power. It silences doubt. It eliminates the emotional instability that comes from self-disappointment. You stop being surprised by your own follow-through because it becomes who you are. Externally, your consistency becomes your reputation. Reputation is not what you do once, it's what you do repeatedly. People may admire talent, but they trust consistency. If you perform well once, you are impressive. But if you perform well over and over, even in different environments and under pressure, you are respected. This trust opens doors. It builds relationships. It sustains influence. In business, in leadership, in ministry, or in friendship, influence is rooted in trust, and trust is a product of consistency. Consistency also reduces anxiety, both for you and for others. Predictability is comforting. In chaotic environments, consistent individuals bring peace. They are the steady hands in the storm, the familiar voice in the confusion, just as a child finds security in a parent's consistent presence. A team finds confidence in a leader's stable behavior. Your consistency becomes a pillar others lean on. But this trust takes time. It is not built in a day. It is built daily. That's why inconsistency is so dangerous. It not only damages your momentum, it cracks the foundation of trust you've been building. People begin to question your motives, your discipline, and even your integrity. And internally, you begin to question your own ability to finish what you start. The power of consistency then is not just in achievement, but in trust. trust that leads to peace, trust that leads to influence, trust that leads to legacy. And that kind of trust can only be built day by day through consistent living. Growth is hidden in the mundane because transformation does not come from rare moments of inspiration, but from the daily disciplines that often feel repetitive and unnoticed. The world glorifies highlights, trophies, breakthroughs, and applause, but real growth happens behind the scenes in moments of silence, solitude, and repetition. The mundane is where foundations are built. It's where habits are formed and where discipline takes root. Without embracing the ordinary, we disqualify ourselves from extraordinary outcomes. Most people quit not because they are incapable, but because they misunderstand the nature of growth. They believe progress should always feel exciting or look impressive. But the truth is, lasting progress is slow, quiet, and sometimes boring. You go to the gym repeatedly, and most days feel like nothing changed. You study every night, and for weeks the results don't show. You work on your business, write your book, practice your craft, and most days it feels like you're going in circles. But if you persist day after day, something starts to shift. Slowly, almost invisibly, growth begins to compound. This is the hidden power of the mundane. It is not glamorous, but it is necessary. When you consistently engage in small, purposeful actions, you create layers of strength and understanding. These layers are what prepare you for opportunity. People think opportunity creates success, but in truth, it only reveals it. When the moment finally comes, it is your daily preparation in the mundane that allows you to rise and meet it. The mundane also builds resilience. In a world that chases excitement and instant results, learning to persist through monotony is a rare strength. It teaches you patience. It shapes your character. It forces you to find motivation beyond emotion. Emotion may start the journey, but only discipline finishes it. And discipline is strengthened in the quiet repetition of ordinary tasks. The mundane is the training ground where champions are formed long before they're ever recognized. Even spiritually and emotionally, depth is formed in routine. You don't develop maturity in moments of hype, but in consistent reflection, in daily prayer or journaling, in choosing to forgive, serve, and love when no one is watching. These repeated, sometimes unnoticed, choices shape your soul. The roots go deeper than the fruit appears, and eventually that depth sustains everything you build. The danger of avoiding the mundane is that it leads to inconsistency, and inconsistency keeps you shallow. You never stay long enough in one place to grow deep roots. You chase novelty hoping to escape boredom, but what you lose is depth, character, and substance. The people who grow the most, lead the best, and leave the deepest impact are not those who mastered moments. They are those who mastered process. So do not despise the mundane. Embrace it. Show up for it. Recognize that each ordinary day is an opportunity to grow something extraordinary within you. Because in the eyes of the wise, the mundane is never meaningless. It is the hidden classroom of greatness. Inconsistency is the enemy of destiny because it disrupts the steady progress necessary to fulfill one's purpose and achieve meaningful goals. Destiny is not a coincidence or luck. It is the outcome of deliberate and sustained effort toward a vision. Every great achievement or legacy was born from continuous commitment. When inconsistency enters the picture, it fractures momentum, creates confusion, and delays the manifestation of what could have been. Destiny requires a consistent rhythm, a steady beat that carries you through challenges and triumphs alike. When you are inconsistent, you send mixed signals to yourself and to the universe. One day you work hard, and the next you give up. One week you focus, and the next week you drift. This irregular pattern causes energy to dissipate rather than accumulate. It's like trying to fill a bucket with water, but leaving holes at the bottom. No matter how much you pour in, it never fills up. Destiny demands that you pour steadily with patience and discipline so the bucket overflows. Moreover, inconsistency breeds doubt and frustration. When you don't keep going, your mind starts to question your own abilities and commitment. You begin to wonder if the goal is too hard, if you are not capable, or if the effort is worth it. This mental resistance further drains your motivation. The enemy is not failure itself, but the pattern of giving up and restarting without real progress. This cycle weakens resolve and clouds your vision, making it harder to believe in your destiny. Destiny also requires that you adapt and grow, but this growth can only happen if you remain engaged long enough to learn from mistakes and make corrections. When you are inconsistent, you miss the opportunity to build momentum and refine your approach. Progress is often slow and not always visible, but it is cumulative. Each step forward builds on the last. Without consistency, you lose this vital continuity and the path becomes fragmented and harder to navigate. Consistency is what separates those who achieve their destiny from those who only dream about it. Talent, opportunity, and knowledge matter, but none of them replace the power of consistent action. The person who shows up every day, even when tired, discouraged, or uncertain, builds a legacy. The person who tries sporadically may start strong, but rarely finishes well. It's also important to recognize that consistency is not about perfection. It's about persistence with purpose. It's the willingness to keep going despite obstacles and setbacks. Destiny is not a straight path. It's a journey with twists and turns, but the constant is your steady commitment. Without this steady commitment, the journey becomes aimless and the destination elusive. In conclusion, inconsistency undermines your potential by breaking the chain of effort needed to reach your destiny. Your dreams, goals, and purpose require that you keep moving forward day by day with deliberate intention. If you want to fulfill your destiny, you must embrace consistency as your greatest ally, knowing that every small, steady step brings you closer to the life you were meant to live. Consistency is a lifestyle, not an event, because true success and lasting change come from the choices you make every day, not from occasional bursts of effort. Many people fall into the trap of thinking that a single act of dedication, a big push, or a moment of inspiration is enough to transform their lives. But transformation is not a one-time event. It is a process built on repeated actions over time. When consistency becomes a lifestyle, it becomes who you are, not just what you do. The idea of consistency as a lifestyle means that it is embedded in your habits, your mindset, and your identity. It's no longer something you switch on and off. It's a natural part of your being. When consistency is an event, it's vulnerable to your emotions, circumstances, and distractions. You might be consistent when you feel like it or when things are easy, but life doesn't always cooperate. Challenges arise, motivation wanes, and distractions come knocking. If consistency depends on how you feel in the moment, it will be short-lived. But when you make consistency a lifestyle, it means you commit to your goals and values regardless of how you feel. You don't wait for motivation. You create momentum through discipline. You develop routines and systems that support your growth, and these become part of your daily rhythm. Over time, these small, repeated actions compound, building strength, skill, and character. The difference is profound. A lifestyle of consistency withstands storms. It thrives in seasons of difficulty and growth alike. Living consistency as a lifestyle also changes how you view failure and setbacks. Instead of seeing failure as a reason to quit, you see it as part of the journey. You understand that consistency is not perfection, but persistence. You learn to get back up every time you fall, knowing that the path to success is paved with many attempts, adjustments, and renewed efforts. This mindset makes you resilient and patient, two qualities essential for lasting achievement. Moreover, when consistency becomes a lifestyle, it influences every area of your life. It shapes your work ethic, your relationships, your health, and your character. The daily choices you make, how you respond to challenges, how you prioritize time, how you treat others, are all reflections of this consistent way of living. It's not about intense effort in one area followed by neglect in another. It's about balanced, steady progress across the board. This lifestyle approach also frees you from the pressure of instant results. You understand that meaningful growth takes time, and you trust the process. You celebrate small victories, knowing that they are the building blocks of larger success. You are less likely to be discouraged by temporary setbacks or slow progress because you have internalized consistency as a long-term commitment, not a quick fix. In essence, consistency as a lifestyle means embracing a daily commitment to your purpose, regardless of external circumstances or internal moods. It's a mindset that refuses to be swayed by momentary feelings and instead anchors itself in discipline, vision, and perseverance. When you live this way, success is not a destination you reach once, it is a way of life you embody every day. Legacy is the fruit of consistent living because what you leave behind is not shaped by isolated moments, but by the cumulative effect of your daily choices and actions. Every great legacy in history, whether in families, communities, nations, or institutions, was built slowly over time by individuals who committed themselves to a course of consistent behavior. Legacy is not accidental. It is intentional and deliberate, born from a lifestyle of persistence, discipline, and integrity. When you think of legacy, you might picture monumental achievements or grand gestures, but in reality, legacy is formed in the small things done repeatedly. It's the kindness shown regularly, the values upheld consistently, and the examples set day after day. People remember not just what you said once, but how you lived over a lifetime. Legacy is the lasting impression of your character, work ethic, and influence, all rooted in the steady practice of consistent living. Consistency is what transforms intentions into impact. Many have dreams and visions, but only those who act on them with unwavering regularity bring those dreams to life. Legacy requires time, and time demands consistency. It's not about how fast you achieve success, but about how reliably you pursue your purpose. The habits you build today will determine the influence you have tomorrow. Each small decision to stay committed, especially when it's difficult, adds another brick to the foundation of your legacy. Moreover, consistent living builds trust and credibility, which are essential for legacy. When others see that you are dependable, disciplined, and true to your word, they are more likely to follow your example and carry forward your vision. Legacy is as much about inspiring others as it is about what you personally accomplish. The greatest legacies live on through those who continue the work, values, or mission you started. This continuity is only possible when the foundation is built on consistency. Legacy also reflects the alignment between your daily life and your highest values. If your actions today contradict the principles you wish to be remembered for, your legacy will be fragmented or forgotten. Consistency ensures that what you do aligns with who you are and what you believe. It creates harmony between your intentions and your impact, allowing you to leave a legacy that is authentic and enduring. The urgency to build a legacy should not be delayed by waiting for perfect conditions or dramatic opportunities. Legacy is crafted in the everyday, the way you treat people, the discipline you show in your work, and the perseverance you maintain through challenges. These ordinary moments, repeated over time, add up to extraordinary influence. Finally, legacy is a gift to those who come after you. It is the inheritance of wisdom, character, and example that shapes future generations. When you live consistently, you become a beacon of stability and inspiration. You show others that greatness is not about sudden achievement, but about faithful endurance. Your legacy becomes a roadmap for those who follow, guiding them toward their own purpose. In essence, consistent living is the soil in which legacy grows. Without consistency, legacy is weak or temporary. But with it, legacy becomes powerful and lasting, a testament to a life well lived and a purpose fully pursued.